Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Oregon football.
Our connection, our toughness, our growing through moments, our DNA traits showed up at the end.
10, 5, bonus. Give me 6. Pressure. Boom. Dorlus got to him again.
I just know how hard our guys work, and you love when they work hard, they get rewarded.
To the 10, 5, 6. Bucky Irvin. Can he get free on his feet? He does. Franklin scores. Ferguson turns and gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Oregon. Touchdown, Ducks.
It was exciting for me to see our guys go out there and execute. I'm proud of them. I love them. So really grateful for that moment.
This is the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Today's broadcast is also brought to you by Country Financial Insurance, protect what matters, and by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks! Drink Pepsi. Now let's go to the Country Financial Studios and talk Oregon Duck football.
It has been way too long since we played a football game, so let's play one. And we got a good one coming up for you. Welcome back to the Country Financial Studios. I'm Jerry Allen. Jorgie is on assignment.
You have to run the ball.
Okay, there he is right there. You're channeling your inner Jorgie tonight. I appreciate
I thought about trying to just ask you every question in the mindset of Jorgie. We'll see how I do.
Best of luck.
See how it works
really
out.
Best of luck.
Yeah.
It's our Pepsi Coaches Interview brought to you by Pepsi, locally on Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi. Our head coach Dan Lanning, good enough to come in and join us again on a Wednesday night and a very busy schedule. Bye week. Ooh, I hate to even use that term because I know that's not what it is, but what was your work week like? Not having a game, extra time to do what?
Yeah, I think you get to peel back the layers and see exactly where you're at, right? What you've accomplished so far, what you still need to improve. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? You know, we've talked about SWOT analysis here before. You know, that was a chance for us to go back and say, okay, what do we need to really prepare for moving forward? How can we get better? And then, you know, beyond that, what are you going to face? You know, what are you going to see the rest of the season, not just this week, but in future weeks? And do we have, you know, what we need to be able to go attack those weeks?
You know, as part of that SWOT analysis, like it feels like it, at least for us, it's like an inventory check, like a self-scout almost. How much of that do you do during that time?
Yeah, we did a ton. You know, we try to look at and see how teams would see us, right? And you go back and you evaluate yourself on third down. You evaluate yourself in the red area. You figure out what you're, like I said, what you're good at and what you haven't done well enough and where you can improve.
A bye week or a week off from a real game, you still hit, you still practice, but it gives players a chance to heal up some bumps and bruises. I don't think people realize how physically demanding the game is, and they do get bruised up and beaten up a little bit, and just a few extra days means a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, but we keep working. I mean, luckily right now we're a really healthy team. I credit that to our sports science department. I spent a lot of time talking to, you know, Ben McKay and Jordan and those guys about where we're at as a team. You know, our strength coaches have done an unbelievable job. Coach Love, his staff, and we know when to push and when to pull. And you know, that's been really good for us. We have a healthy team because of that.
You know, on that note, like I don't know that maybe we ask you about that side of it enough. Like not just strength and conditioning, but we're sitting on the second floor of the Casanova Center right above the Marcus Mariota Sports Performance Center. In fact, if you bang your foot really loud, Jordan and Ben can probably hear you. Take fans through that if you could. Like, how valuable is that to your program?
Yeah, I mean, extremely valuable. We are, you know, our guys, when they go to practice, I don't know how many people realize this, they wear GPS units every single day. And these GPS units will tell us how fast we're running in practice, you know, how much our player load is, so how many yards we're running in practice. How many accelerations, how many decelerations, and we track that throughout the year, and we really curtail practice based on our player loads. And what we found, you know, this year even more so is we're hitting some of our highest numbers now in the season, which is unique. You know, a lot of times you're going to start the season fast, and then your body becomes fatigued throughout the season. But we test hamstring strength, we test, you know, power scores, and just jump numbers. A lot of that stuff is a great resource for us. We can compare a practice from a Tuesday in fall camp compared to a practice, going into the Stanford game, or a practice this week going into this game. So it's invaluable information that we use a lot to assess how we want to adjust our program.
And you have colored cleats that change based on
And we
intensity.
have colored cleats.
Right. See?
You mentioned Coach Love and the strength and conditioning staff. Game 6 coming up, so you're into the meat of the season. You realize now how important his strength and conditioning program preparing your players to be this far in and be this healthy.
Yeah, and his staff does an unbelievable job. He's got a great group of coaches that work with him, and we actually lift during the season. You don't want to just maintain. You'd like to get stronger through the season, but that's hard based on the demands of the players' schedules. But they do a really good job of incorporating. Those guys travel on the road for us. The day of a game, we do what we call a primer. So those guys actually get some exercise in that day right before we travel to the to the next game. They're there on game day doing that.
So similarly, like we've talked about before with you, guys that have changed positions over the course of their careers, whether it be in college or earlier in their lives. One of them, Terrance Ferguson, is coming up later. He played center, he told me, once upon a time, right? Like he was just a bigger guy. So
you shouldn't have told me that. I might have to steal some snaps to Terrance it.
Well, so T-Ferg, I'm sorry. We'll cover that later. But truthfully, like guys that have to change their bodies, like how big of a conversation is that? I mean, you've got such a large roster, like from the head coach's chair even, how do you make those decisions of, okay, a guy fits here, now you got to make his body fit for that position on the field? I don't know, that's got to be a tough process for you.
Yeah, just communication, right? Not always are guys excited about position changes, but sometimes that can be the best thing that's ever happened to them.
Sure.
And we've had some guys here that have really embraced it and really excelled. And then they have to make the decision, okay, here's my goals, how do I get to where I want to be? Sure. And luckily we have great support to do that.
Successful teams will adapt to or adopt the personality of their head coach. Your team has. I mean, you talk about going back to work this week. It's amazing how many of the guys didn't talk about having some time to rest up or having almost to a man, we get to go back to work. They've bought in, haven't they?
Yeah, they embrace what we're trying to do as a team, right? It's not my team, it's their team, but they've done a great job of instilling what they want to get accomplished, and it's fun to see firsthand.
To that point, like you're always such a team-oriented coach. Like every time we talk to you, anybody talks to you, we all feel that. But that's a conscious decision that you've made in your life, I'd imagine. Like, where's that come from? The idea of like, hey, it's a team-oriented thing. I don't know. Like, I think it's easy to even be selfish, but you're not that way. Why are you that way?
Well, we're not playing golf, right? I mean, it's not an individual sport. It takes everybody, and it's not even 11 guys, right? It's 11 that are on the field on offense, and then 11 that are on defense, and then 11 that are on special teams, and it changes throughout the game. And the more you can have that feel for what it means to be a part of a team, the more success you're going to have.
One of the benefits of a week off from playing a game is that you do have time to send some coaches out recruiting. I thought it was interesting watching social media, and I don't know if you realize it, the respect that your coaching staff gets on social media. When you show up somewhere, people are like, wow, Oregon is here. Do you realize that, and how important is that?
Yeah, because it's Oregon. I mean, Oregon's obviously an elite place to play football, and to be able to garner, a coach's attention on our staff, it means you're doing something right. And we love going out. I was a former high school coach. It's one of my favorite things to go stand on a high school sideline. And I always remembered as a high school coach, when a college coach would come up to watch a game, you felt like your guys played a little bit harder. It's no different than coming to one of our practices and watching the NFL scouts there on the sideline. Like I always tell those guys, make sure you're wearing your logo. I want to make sure they see you. And it's fun for us. It changes things a little bit, changes up the setting for you, which I think is great in the middle of the season to get a chance to go out there on the road and see some of the future talent for the Ducks.
To that point, again, like maybe we don't talk about it enough. Like there's a staff that's committed to recruiting, not just you and the coaches, but the recruiting staff. I don't know, just a chance to brag about them a little bit when you're always looking toward the future.
Yeah, we've got a great recruiting department. It's the best I've been around, and really, the evaluations never stop. They're always watching film. They're always finding, trying to find the diamonds in the rough, which is harder and harder to find in, the recruiting ranks today. But they do a good job of continuing to evaluate and put people in front of us. And then it's not just that. It's when they get on campus, what's that experience like for the players when they get here, for their families when they get here. We want this to feel like home away from home. And there's very few recruits that it's going to be close proximity. So when you make that trip to get here, it needs to be different. And our staff is absolutely unbelievable. Our organization wouldn't be the same without them.
Social media can be interesting, good or bad. There was a lot of good this week. I saw some social media shots of your team out in the community doing things. And I know it's always a good look for the team, But I realize it's educational for these young men to be put in those situations and visualize and realize what the real world is like out there, isn't it?
Yeah, our guys, I think, know how blessed they are, right? And getting to be a part of opportunities to give back, whether it's working with kids' sports or cleaning up some graffiti, whatever that might be, I think that's a great place for us to humble ourselves and get to realize how fortunate we are to be in the situation we're in. And beyond that, given the opportunity to give back, I know that meant the world to some of those young kids at kids' sports, seeing our players around them. That's something we want to continue to do here.
Fun stuff. All right, we got a lot more questions. I got a hypothetical situation for you coming up.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about analytics, your opinion or attitude on those compared to what we used to have to what we have now. That's all I had. All right. We are the Pepsi Coaches interview portion of our show in our Country Financial studio. It's all brought to you by Toyota. Thanks for being a part of it. Back more on the Coach from the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck, and that's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially with great rates, lower fees, nationwide ATM access, and mobile banking. Earn more interest with remarkable checking.
Hello.
Devotion with a Duck debit card. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU.
Test, Joey.
Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit. Insured by NCUA.
Fubo is the official streaming platform of Oregon Athletics. With Fubo, you can watch every Pac-12 game.
Test.
More college and pro sports, shows, movies, and news on over 350 live TV channels. Stream it live on your TV, phone, and other devices. No cable required. The best part? You can try Fubo free. There's no contract or commitment. To start watching, just go to FuboTV.com. That's FUBOTV.com.
More gridiron action in 1 minute.
Gonna throw. Oh, what a play for the middle. Touchdown, Oregon.
Coming your way on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hey, son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Welcome back to the that voice cracked.
Rivalry week. Rivalry
back.
week.
Toyota Coaches Show. I'm Jerry Allen. It's our Country Financial studio. We got all kinds of fun stuff going on. Sometimes it's more fun what goes on during the break that you don't see or hear.
Sometimes?
Most of the time. Okay,
Yeah.
I got you there. Head Coach Dan Lanning. I got a hypothetical situation here, which you may not even be able to answer.
Before you ask it, just know that I don't normally answer hypotheticals.
It's true.
Okay.
But I'm in. Let's see if it's fun.
This is fun. Okay. You're not allowed to do anything related to football, coaching, watching, nothing for 1 week. If that were even possible, what would you do with your free time? Not even thinking about football.
So wait, like hypothetical here.
Yes.
I'd be spending time with my family, but my son plays football. I can't go watch him play football.
Ooh. Okay, hypothetically,
It's
other
the
than
it's
family.
the off season for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would spend time with my family for sure.
Yeah.
You know, and then at some point go on some good walks or hikes somewhere.
You have hobbies? Do you have any hobbies?
Yeah, I like to. I'm not good at golf, but I like to golf. Someday I want to be good at golf. That's something I'd like to do.
You know, did you inspire your whole team, by the way, over the summer to get good at golf?
No, but you know,
because like everyone says that.
There's some good ones on our team. Yeah. Our specialists are elite at golf, right? When
we've been told Bailey Jaramillo is a stick.
Bailey is a stick. Yeah. Bailey's nice and he can hit it a country mile.
Cam's not bad either. Cam's pretty
Cam's
good.
really good.
Yeah,
there's some good ones.
But no, to a point, like when I asked, hey, what'd you do over the summer? What was your offseason like? They're like, well, I wanted to get good at golf. Oh.
Yeah, when I noticed it became a big deal is when I started seeing Brandon Dorless out here playing golf all the time. I was like, what?
Yeah.
But I actually played with Brandon once this offseason.
And?
I'm a slightly better than Brandon, but he's got all the confidence in the world. And
that's good.
And I like that he's picked it up. He's picked it up way earlier than I ever picked it up.
Yeah.
So he's going to be good someday.
I have a baseball swing. I'm a terrible golfer.
Yeah, he's got one of those swings. Hit the ball, it goes hard, it goes far, but you just don't know where.
That's right.
One of those.
That's me.
Right.
Yeah,
a lot of that
I'm
stuff.
with you.
All right. I mentioned to you that we're going to talk about analytics. I know coaches and players have tracked or noticed tendencies when you scout teams for years. Mostly writing down what you see on film. But now with computers and people who specialize in it, analytics, has it changed the way you coach? How do you use it as a tool? And do you think it's a good thing?
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. For me, it's always about where do you find an edge to win, right? It's about winning. And if analytics can help you win, then you better use them, right? And I think the computer's going to be smarter than I am, right? So if it has some pieces to the puzzle that are going to help us be, a good team, we want to be able to lean in on that. On the same note, I don't think you can ever make every decision based on numbers alone. You have to have a feel for the game. What's your success rate? Do you feel good about the play that you're about to call? Do you feel good that those are going to hold true? And other coaches study film too, right? They have jobs too, so they're going to change what they do throughout the season. So you have to adapt when that happens.
To that point, I was kind of curious to ask you tonight, like, in your career, how much has the game of football changed?
A ton, yeah. And a huge amount. And you see trends that, kind of go in cycles in college football and the NFL, and it'll continue to change. But that's kind of what makes this game so great.
Are there a couple position groups that have changed the most? Like, I feel like there are some. I'm just kind of curious your perspective.
Yeah, certainly from a defensive perspective, now that offenses have opened up a lot more, the value of speed is really high. Before you talk about a linebacker and you'd find a 255-pound guy that's going, B gap to B gap, and he's taking on ISO blocks, and that just can't be the game anymore. With tight ends as athletic as they are, they have to be able to cover people, and they have to be able to run sideline to sideline. As the game continues to play, all over the place, you got to have guys out there in the field that can do that and play all over the place.
Biggest thing in your team this year is the improvement of the defense. I think a lot of people are saying that. And the question for me is, from this point last season until now, what's the biggest difference or improvement you've seen in that front seven that are getting pressure on people now?
Yeah, I think they're playing as big as they are, right? We have some big bodies up front, and they're playing big. Also, just the fact that we have multiple guys that can play. Strength, I've said it a bunch, but strength in numbers. We have a lot of guys that can rotate, so when they're on the field, they're fresh. And then overall as a defense, I just think we've tackled a lot better.
One question that came in from a fan, and so I'm guilty of this, Jerry. Like, sometimes I think I try to ask you really specific stuff, and maybe I should just ask you more open-ended stuff. Chad asked, what have you been the most impressed with this year?
Yeah, probably our leadership, right, which actually has nothing to do with, necessarily on the field performance, but the ability for our players to challenge each other and really hold each other to a high standard. And, whether it's the defensive guys huddling up and grouping up before we start a period and demanding that it looks a certain way, whether it's the extra work done by our offensive guys post-practice, that leadership has really stood out to me.
Leadership in a week like this coming up when you're on the road in a very hostile environment, leadership on the field, probably more critical at that time than any other time of the season in that situation, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to make decisions about how you're going to react when you're on the field on Saturday before you ever get to Saturday. So, even trying to recreate that in practice, that chaos that's going to exist within the game, and making that carry over to the game.
You talked about that after practice today, like you create the chaos, right? Like I love that phrase, the calm within the storm, and you create chaos in practice. Like, take us inside the process if you could. Like, you identify things that you want to be chaotic so that they're not chaotic later. Like, it sounds simple, but I know it's not.
Yeah, it can be as simple as having crowd noise in every single period of practice and making it annoyingly loud to where you can't communicate. It might be shoving a guy after a play's over with to see how he's going to respond whenever he gets shoved after a play, in the game.
Don't want that penalty.
Don't want the penalty, but you got to try to figure out how can you recreate all the things that could happen in a game before it ever happens.
Last week or the last game, it was you had to bring your own juice because it wasn't going to be that kind of an atmosphere.
Is this one going to be different?
This one might. I've heard. I'm not positive. But so given that, how do you coach a team to go from one extreme to the other and not lose control or lose contain of that juice?
Yeah, we've talked a lot this week about being in the eye of the storm, right? Right in the middle of the storm is the calmest part of the storm, and that's what we want to focus on. There's going to be a lot of chaos and a lot of distractions going on throughout the stadium, throughout all the events that are occurring around this game, and it goes back to what I've said before: play the game, not the occasion.
When do you start thinking about your pregame speech?
This summer. I know that sounds crazy, but like you've pieced together kind of the things that you think will matter in this game, going all the way back to the messaging. And we work with, I try to bounce ideas off a lot of people, right? There's a guy named Corey Schaefer that works with our team, quite a bit, sports psychologist that spends time, he's really a performance coach. And when we talk about, hey, what do we feel like the message might be for this week? And, whether it's carrying a certain theme into the week or adapting that scheme based on the results of our season, that's what we do.
Okay, we haven't talked about your opponent yet. We'll do that when we come back. Got to get a break in. It's our Toyota Coaches Show. Here on our Country Financial Studio, I'm Jerry Allen with Jorgie. I'm sorry, I beg your pardon.
I did good. I got to Jorgie level. We made it.
We coming back. He may not be with us, but we'll be back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
There's more Duck football around the corner.
Got him deep. He's open. He's got it. He's gone. 10-5. Touchdown, Oregon.
60 seconds away on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside our Country Financial Studios. I'm Jerry with, I almost called you Jorgie again. Joey.
Yes.
I've
made it.
3 J's.
No,
Jerry,
I can retire
Jorgie,
now.
Joey. Yeah, no.
You've confused me with Jorgie. I did okay.
I will actually never confuse you with Jorgie.
You have to run the ball.
Yeah, to run. Okay, now that's the Jorgie. Pepsi Coaches Interview. It's our Toyota Coaches Show, Washington. It's a big week for fans, for the media, and for the football team as well. It's a big game. You're playing against a team, the nation is looking at this game. With that in mind, a little bit on Washington. What is it they do? Why have they been successful?
Yeah, they're one of the most explosive offenses in college football right now. They pass the ball extremely well, get it down the field. They hit a lot of explosive plays. Every time you turn on their film and watch it, you see a guy getting the ball down the field. And beyond that, I don't think they get enough credit for how improved their defense is, how they fly to the ball, the success they've created, and then in special teams they do a lot of big things in the return game.
I was going to mention special teams, Cam Lewis and Luke Dunn. Your special teams, kicking and punting, I'm not going to say an advantage. Wait for the game to show that, but you like those guys.
Yeah, Ross, Luke, and Cam have all done a phenomenal job for us this year. You know, this will be one of these games where the wind kind of coming off the water at times can create a different environment for specialists. So this will be a big one for them to perform in.
Yeah, I've heard you mention that a couple times this week as you get later into the season. Like the wind impacts some coaching decisions. Weather impacts coaching decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, the later and further you get in the season, the more that's going to affect the kicking game. So you want to make sure you have a great plan for it.
You get excited. I mean, you get excited for every game. You love every game. You're a head coach. But are some games just different as a head coach?
Yeah, I think any coach that tells you they're not is just doing coach speak, right? I mean, the most important game is always the next game, that's for sure, and that's where your focus is at. But this game means a little bit more, right? And for you as a coach, this is why you come, you know, to coaching games like this. This is, you know, what I think every one of our players look forward to getting to play in a game like this.
You know, to that point, like I said that today on Duck Insider and on the Quack Minute, like this is why you come to Oregon. I know it sounds cliche, right? But that's why you come to Oregon is for a game like this. I don't know.
You want to play in moments like this. I mean, big-time college football is about games like this. You get excited when you know game day is going to be there and when, you know, the world's watching. And that's what we get the opportunity to do this Saturday.
Opportunity. You just said the word. It's another opportunity to show up.
Yeah.
That's right.
You ready to show up?
We're ready.
I got to ask you about the guy who's coming up next, Terrance Ferguson. What can you tell us?
He's a great one. Ask him about his new ink he's got. He's got some new ink, man. He's phenomenal for us. You know, I was probably one of my most exciting moments as a coach this season. You know, this guy's obviously a phenomenal player. He catches the ball well and does big things when the ball's in his hand. But one of the games, I can't remember exactly what I said to him, but it's something to the effect of, hey, you're about to have a big catch this next series. He goes, Coach, I don't care. I just want to block the C gap, which that fires you up. When you're talking about a great tight end, that's what you want to see.
Yeah.
Wow.
The tight end position's changed an awful lot.
It's changed a lot, right? You got wideouts at tight end now and you know, pseudo O-linemen. They do both. They wear a lot of different hats. And, you know, we even have a young guy, Kenyon Sadiq, that's gotten a handoff this year and taking it for some yards and running down on kickoff. So it's a good group for us.
Going to be a fun week. Going to be a fun game. Yeah, I know you guys are ready, but the hay's not in the barn yet.
Hay is not in the barn.
Go grab a pitchfork and get busy.
Pre-game speech.
Yeah, we'll think about it.
On that. Coach, thanks for being with us tonight.
Appreciate you guys.
Toyota Coaches Show. We're going to come back to you. Ferguson to join Joy, and we'll catch you up with some more Oregon football on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Fubo is the official streaming platform of Oregon Athletics. With Fubo, you can watch every Pac-12 game, plus more college and pro sports, shows, movies, and news on over 350 live TV channels. Stream it live on your TV, phone, and other devices. No cable required. The best part? You can try Fubo free. There's no contract or commitment. To start watching, just go to FuboTV.com. That's FUBOTV.com.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Go Ducks!
It's made, turn, don't deny me the end zone. Touchdown, Oregon.
This is Oregon football from Learfield.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
We're back on the Toyota Coaches Show. I'm Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Terrance Ferguson is joining us today. T-Ferg. So
what's up, man?
I got to ask you again for a 2-minute life story. Now, you did this last time. You remember this? See, he's smiling. See, this is good. So we were just talking during the break. T-Ferg's a veteran now. So my goal here is to only cover, like, I don't know, a few things that we covered last year. But I'm going to tell everybody something. This is true. I had not remembered this until after that I asked T-Ferg to come on the show. Last year, he also came on during Washington Week. So if you're interested in the first T-Ferg appearance on the Toyota Coaches Show, it was also during Washington Week. Now, this week's going to be different, right?
Yes.
This week's going to be different.
Definitely different.
You want to tell your 2-minute life story again?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Have you been practicing?
No.
All right.
This hasn't been on my practice list.
Okay. You have a few other things to deal with.
A couple other things.
2-minute life story. Terrance Ferguson, go.
Grew up in Denver, Colorado. I have 2 older brothers, 2 younger brothers who are my adopted cousins, both mom and dad. My dad has done everything under the sun to provide for us. I say small house, big family. We got a bunch of people that like always lived with me and been a part of my family. After that, I went to Heritage High School in Littleton, Colorado. I played football, basketball, and 1 year of lacrosse. And then, had a big spot in the recruiting, and kind of went through a COVID recruiting, so kind of Zooms and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then ended up out here for Mario Cristobal, and now stayed through Coach Lanning, and it's just been a fun ride.
That was almost exactly the same amount of time that you did
Was it
last
really?
year. This was 53 seconds. Last year was 52. Well
there's
done.
There's a second extra there.
Yeah, well done. But one more year on the life, 1 more second on the story. That was great. I do want to start with your family. A big one. It sounds like you're proud of that family.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's one of my biggest things that I'm proud of is I have a amazing family, a big family, and we're really tight together, and we come from all kinds of different places, and it's just this amazing, just everyone's from everywhere, and we don't look the same, but it's a really tight family.
How cool is that? I mean, you got a bunch of different backgrounds you're learning from. That's got to be a cool experience.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's got to be cool. Okay, so Coach Lanning asked about this. You got a bunch of new ink. You wore shorts today on purpose. Those of you that are watching the show, T-Ferg, doesn't that hurt?
No. It's honestly, so my tattoo artist came out for the bye weekend.
Oh, nice.
Shout out Vic in Colorado if you ever want a tattoo. But he came out there. And it's kind of like my therapy, honestly.
Really?
I fall asleep when I'm getting tattoos. It doesn't really hurt. The only one that hurt, my stomach. My stomach hurt.
Okay.
So that's one I'll tell people
Be aware of the stomach.
Don't get the stomach.
All right, I've learned. Okay, so now I've got to go here first. Last year we had this discussion about if there was a starting 5 for Oregon basketball, what would the starting 5 be? Do you remember what your starting 5 was from last year? Because I wrote it down for you.
I don't. Let me hear.
You had Trev at the 5, Jay Butterfield was at the 2, Bo Nix was at the 1, Mo Mataval was at the 4, and then you had yourself at the 3. So it's got to be a little different this year.
Yeah, we lost a lot of talent there.
Right, but is there some new talent on the basketball roster?
So definitely.
So what's the starting 5 for Duck basketball, Duck football version Duck basketball?
Keeping Bo Nix at the 1.
Okay. That's a smart tight end identifying his quarterback right off the bat there.
I'm keeping Bo Nix at the 1. 2, I'm probably going Kyrie.
Really?
Kyrie could play some moves. Yeah,
Kyrie
he's pretty
Jackson.
good. He's pretty good.
All right.
And then put myself back at the 3.
Okay, yeah. You're not going to go small, put you at the 4 or something?
No. The 4. No, I'm put Pat Herbert.
Pat Herbert.
Pat Herbert's going to get you a board, get you a bucket.
All right.
He's Mr. Consistent right there.
Okay.
The 5.
This is what you struggled with last time.
I might put – I know I put Trev last time. That was Dennis Rodman for us. I might go George Silva.
Okay.
He's a big dude. He actually plays – he's not a bad basketball player too. He could.
If you weren't playing football, you'd be playing basketball.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Probably should have played basketball.
You think? But seriously, I know to a man, everyone on the team, whenever I ask the basketball question, you always come up.
I come up.
You're proud of that. Look at you. See this? He's like, yeah.
I am proud of that. You know.
So what's your game like? Are you a scorer around the basket? Are you the hustle player that always wins the rebound? Are you a shooter?
I'd say point forward. So it's like I'm a big dude. I have really good post moves, but like coast to coast and bring the ball up, and I actually pass the ball very well. Jump shot is definitely rusty. It never was the best. I'll admit it never was the best. It was definitely a lot rustier. It's like a LSU Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons.
Not an NBA Ben Simmons, but an LSU Ben Simmons. That's like me.
That was great. Okay, so something to work on in the football offseason. But when you're like just playing for fun, I can't imagine that you give up the court very often.
No.
Yeah.
We go out to the rec, and it's pretty fun. Like, I go with Ty and a couple of my other roommates, and, yeah, it's pretty fun. Just kind of run around, you know. If I wanted to, I could just run, and playing 2K, you just run, press square, and play it up.
I love that. Terrance Ferguson joining us. Now, we talked about this a little bit last year. Like, you grew up a bit of a Duck fan, even in Colorado, right? I know that you said last time we talked that the uniforms really drew you in. Just take us back to young Terrance Ferguson. You know, you're watching an Oregon game. What's going through your mind?
You know, obviously the first thing that catches my eye, like, is the flashy jerseys and the Nike, and, like, it catches everybody's eye. And so I started watching, and then you got explosive plays all over the field. Like, it's just fun football to watch. And so, you know, growing up, you know, you're just getting into football. Like, fun football to watch makes you a fan. So watching guys like DeAnthony Thomas, LaMichael James, like people like that, Marcus Mariota, like, you can't get better than that. So I just became a fan then.
Last year, T-Ferg made my night when he said that one of his favorite uniforms was when the Ducks dressed up like the Duck. Is that still your favorite uniform?
Probably. I actually really like that jersey. I think that one was definitely one of my favorites. I also like what we wore versus CU this year in Arizona my freshman year. I like the black, green, black.
Yeah.
I like the ones that we have coming up. Those ones are up there for me too.
All right, see, this is good. That's what they call a tease, T-Ferg. Well done. Well done. I loved it. I understand the orange thing. I get it, everyone. I hate to tell you this, but the Ducks' feet are orange.
Yeah, no, I thought it was so cool. I still do.
Yeah,
I still back it.
Thank you. I'm glad that you've said that. Football question, working on your game. What have you worked on the most this year? Where do you feel like you've come the most this season?
You know, I'd say across the board, I feel like I've gotten better at a lot of different things just because Coach Maringer is an elite coach. He's pushing me to be the best I can be in every facet of my game, and if that's run blocking, we've worked a lot on pass protection, which is like people don't realize that tight ends still pass protect. You know, we run routes, but sometimes we're still in protection. So that's a hard job, especially when you're going against the best pass rushers on the edge there. So I'd say that's a big one. And then just route running. Coach Maringer's helped me a lot over this offseason, just cleaning up like little things on route running. And then I'm going to say one of the biggest things is becoming a leader. You know, the dynamic of the room changed quite a bit. And me and Patrick have had to step up. You know, there's older guys ahead of us, and we're backseat last year, and now, you know, we're the oldest guys in the room, and everyone looks to us. So, like, definitely a change of dynamic
It's pressure.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely pressure. It's good pressure, though.
Yeah, pressure's a privilege, as they say.
Pressure's a privilege.
Right. Okay, so one thing that I was hoping you'd say is, like, maybe your hands. You're a good basketball player. So bad transition in broadcast world, but you made a great catch at Stanford, okay? We've got the highlight for you. If you've never heard Jerry go berserk on your behalf, you're about to hear Jerry go berserk on your behalf.
Under center, give it to Joe. He's going to throw it to the end zone. What a catch by Fergie! Touchdown, Oregon! Terrance Ferguson, all 6'5" of him elevated, got his hands on that ball, and then it's don't you dare try to take it away from me.
Are you sure you're only 6'5"?
I tell people I'm 6'6".
Yeah!
You know, they might have snuck me on the roster a little bit, but, you know.
Yeah. So I got to tell a story on Jerry's behalf, okay? So I was up in the booth behind him, And watching Jerry make a call like that, he was completely flexed and torsoed over because he was so excited. I mean, that's what it looked like from up there. Nice catch. Walk us through it.
Appreciate it. You know, it was a big-time moment in the game. It was 4th and short, and we're going to throw the ball. You know,
right.
People aren't thinking you're going to throw the ball. And the kid actually had really good coverage. Like, it was supposed to be wide open. No one was supposed to be around. And we've been practicing this for a long time, and we haven't called it. And he threw it up there. You know, I went up and got a rebound. Yeah. That's what I thought. You know, the ball was up there. Bo put it in a perfect place for me to be able to go up and make a play, and went up and got a rebound.
Yeah. Well done. We're going to get a timeout. When we come back, I never thought I'd be asking a student athlete about doing a photo shoot with a chameleon. But we're doing that with Terrance Ferguson when we come back. Toyota Coaches Show continues on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Your home for Duck football.
Dump a short pass, it's intercepted. Oh, what a throw, what a catch. Pressure, steps up, goes down.
The Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back on the Toyota Coaches Show in the Country Financial Studio, Joey Mack, joined by Terrance Ferguson. One more segment. Okay, so you probably have all seen the photos of the color-changing cleats. Shout out to our guy Kenny Farr.
Yeah, shout out Kenny.
Terrance Ferguson was the student athlete that was in the photos with the chameleon. So did you make friends with the chameleon?
Yeah, no, I did. His name was Wade, actually, so
Yeah.
I still remember his name. It was pretty cool to see the chameleon up close, and it actually, like, changed colors, which I didn't know. Like, they actually did. I thought it was kind of like a kid's tale, you know.
But no, it's real.
Yeah, it changed colors, and it matched the cleats perfectly.
Yeah. Well done to the creative team. I can't – so, like, when you're – say a prospective student athlete comes in and goes, hey, T-Ferg, what's it going to be like being at Oregon? Are you going to be like, yeah, you take pictures with chameleons?
Yeah, I guess, you know, it is something crazy to say, like, when you think about it. And then I know all the pictures went viral because –
How could they not? Look at the cleats.
Yeah, the cleats and the chameleon. Like,
What were the cleats like? Like your reaction to them?
I saw them in Kenny's office, and when I saw him and he showed me, I'm a big, like, sneakerhead. And so, like, the Civilus dunk was the first dunk to do that. And, like, he showed me, and I was like, oh, that's really cool because that's just like the Civilus dunk, and he's a genius.
Yeah.
Kenny's the guy.
Kenny knows what he's doing.
Yeah, definitely.
You also – talking about things that went viral on social media, I think it's going to go viral by the time today continues. I don't know if you saw today, the Oregon volleyball team released golf cart karaoke. And, well, Terrance Ferguson had a special appearance on Coach Holmer's golf cart karaoke. Take a listen.
Straighten
to the EMU. Okay.
Oh, that's karaoke?
Yeah.
It's carpool karaoke. No, get in here. Hi, Matt.
You bailed on him. You couldn't do karaoke for the free ride?
No, I honestly didn't know what was happening. He kind of just pulled up on me, and I was like, I don't think I did anything wrong, Like he pulled up on me. I was just trying to get to class, and he's like, "Do you want to ride?" I was like, "Yeah," And then they didn't say anything. He starts driving a little bit. He's like, "It's karaoke. What song do you want?" And I was like, I just woke up from a nap. It's the worst possible time for me to want to sing. And then they got this camera in my face. I was like, I'm out of here. I got off and I was like, I can walk. It's cool.
So to Coach Ulmer, it's not personal.
No, it was not personal. It was not personal. I actually got back on and he gave me a ride.
Yeah, that's good. Just didn't make the final cut of the video.
Didn't make the final cut. Yeah.
So what would your karaoke song be?
See, that was the problem. I got put on the spot. I don't have a go-to karaoke song. When Killing Me Softly.
Yeah. See, you play a classic.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a good one.
I'm with you. So you've been involved in a couple successful 2-point conversions this year. Is there a better feeling than having one of those succeed when you're like, we executed perfectly? That's got to feel great as a special teams unit.
Oh, yeah. No, it feels great, especially because we've done so much with it. And it started off from one thing, and then each week we've added new to our gate series. And you think every once in a while, you have a fake or a special play in football, and it's we might call this, we might call this. We've called them.
Yeah.
Every game. So when you score on them, it definitely feels good to score on those plays.
Yeah, the work pays off.
Yeah, especially
You spent the practice time, a lot of film time.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know, that makes sense. You talked too about Coach Maringer a little bit ago. I wanted to come back to that. What's it been like now working with him second season, Coach Maringer?
It's been great. He does a phenomenal job. He does more than just coach the tight ends. He helps us out with life, he's another father figure to everybody in the tight end room. Couldn't ask for a better coach, man. He's great. He's done a great job with us in football as well, just developing us. And you go watch some of the tight end one-on-ones, you're like, that's not a tight end. Because we're running routes like a receiver, using our hands, and then he has us doing all kinds of great things.
Also, second year, but with this staff, but then the first with a new offensive coordinator. Yeah. What's it been like with Coach Stein's offense?
No, it's been great. Coach Stein has done a great job of obviously putting up points. We've done a great job, and he does a great job mixing stuff up, but then getting the ball to playmakers in space and putting people in good positions to win a one-on-one. He's doing a great job. It's funny, this is my third offensive coordinator in 3 years, but he's done a great job.
Well,
we're rolling.
Your playbook knowledge is going to be extensive when you go to the league, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's one thing that helped out is, you see a playbook, and when you come in as a freshman, it's
that's a lot.
Yeah, what's going on? And then you think you just learn that playbook, and then you're like, okay, it's just the concept, and most of it rolls over, and then it helps having knowledge from 3 different people like that.
Sure. Your tight end group, you touched on how you kind of stepped into that leadership role. Talk about the tight end group. A lot of depth in that room. A lot of competition, I'd imagine.
Oh, yeah, definitely a lot of competition between Casey, me, Pat, and Kenyon. And then even our walk-on guys do a great job, I couldn't be asked for a better group. They're like family to me, my brothers, and then we do a good job competing, loving on each other. We go out to dinner all the time, and we're really tight, and I think we just kind of take pride in that in the tight end room. We do so much, and there can be multiple of us on the field at a time, and we're just a really close group. And then there's a lot of different skill sets. Kenyon Sadiq is the best athlete on the Oregon football team, pound for pound. I'll say that. And then you just got guys like Pat who can do everything. He's very reliable and he can block really well like a tackle, and then he runs really good routes. And I know he doesn't get the credit he deserves, but he runs really good routes and probably has the best hands on the team.
That's saying something coming from you.
Yeah.
We talked about this.
I say it myself, but Pat definitely has the best hands.
See,
on the
but
team.
that's good leadership. See that right there? Give credit to somebody else. Well done. Yeah. Well done. This is a simple question that I feel like is kind of complicated. What does it take to be a good tight end? What makes a good tight end?
Versatility, you do so much, and it's crazy the stuff we do. We'll pull, we'll block that backside of a zone scheme, we'll be at the front side of attack on run plays, and then, we're in protection, short routes, intermediate, deep routes. Like, it's being able to, I'd say probably the biggest thing is to be smart and be able to handle a lot, because it's not just like, hey, you got this on this play. Like, we got to know the protection, the run calls, the calls for, like, literally everything. Behind the quarterback, it's the hardest position to learn mentally on football probably.
Makes sense.
I'd say you have to be smart and be able to, like, handle a lot.
Rivalry game, top 10 matchup. You heard me say it. This is why you come to Oregon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is a big one. This is why you show up.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Generally, keys to success, what's going to take for a Duck W?
I think starting us off with the run game, we gotta. That's something we pride ourselves in, and so, like, being able to start off and establish the run game sets up everything else in football. So dominating those guys up front is a big thing for us, and obviously they have a really explosive offense, but we have a top 10 defense, and they're gonna go out there and put that on display. So that's big for them.
Terrance Ferguson, T-Ferg.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks for coming in,
No,
man.
yeah, of course.
You're welcome anytime. All right. And if you ever need just to have some entertainment at the rec, I got to come see.
Oh yeah,
the 5-on-5.
We actually played in the rec league for a little bit.
How'd you do?
We actually ended up losing just because we didn't have people show up. We were playing like 5-on-4 basketball, but
next year.
Yeah.
Next year.
There's some serious competition out there. They got layup lines going 30 minutes before the games, okay?
That's good. It's a good thing. Yeah.
It was fun, though.
Good athletes around. Thanks, Terrance. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man.
Well, last time he told me that he only gets called Terrance when he's in trouble. So, T-Ferg, thanks for being here.
Appreciate
We're going to get a timeout when we come back. Final thoughts and getting ready for a 12:30 kickoff in Seattle on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Welcome back inside our Country Financial Studios. Great interview.
Well,
what a great kid.
The interviewer's only as good as the interviewee.
Oh, he's awesome. Every one of them have been.
We were just talking about 3-on-3 basketball tournaments. So didn't like the staff used to play at Mac Court during lunch?
Yeah, we had what we called noon ball.
Yeah.
And I got taken out by Coach Brooks many times.
Like intentionally elbow to the face.
I mean, you don't. He's the head coach.
So did it influence the questions you asked him?
No, I was still very careful. Regardless, no. We had some fun noon ball. We had a lot of guys get hurt.
That's great.
We had a few fights.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good stuff.
It's rivalry week.
All right. Hey, dream matchup for football fans across the nation. This is what you will look for if you're a football fan.
Yep.
Oregon, Washington, 12:30 kickoff in Seattle. I don't know.
You still get tents for these?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I
do
really. Yeah, but it's what you look forward to. I said dream matchup. Jorgie's already up there, so he'll join us. 10:30 pregame.
10:30 pregame.
Oh,
Jaleel
my.
Florence, Johnny Cornelius, Carlos Lachlan, Coach Lanning, Jorgie's keys to the game. 10:30 pregame.
Yeah, don't miss the pregame. That 2 hours before kickoff is loaded with a ton of stuff. Hey, thanks for being with us again tonight. Thanks to the coach and T-Ferg. See you soon. Bye-bye. God bless.
This has been the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Tonight's show has also been brought to you by Country Financial Insurance. Protect what matters. And by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks. Drink Pepsi.